but covering my bases. Hi guys, we're all here.
Hey.
Hello.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. No? Okay. So thank you guys all for wanting to be part of the panel and just trying to help the seniors with their selection process. We learned today that they already started picking their schools and stuff. And some already made selections, but from what I noticed, from the information that we received, like on the Excel sheets and stuff, a lot of kids are still having trouble selecting schools. And I feel like this video will really help them like figure out some last minute things that they need, because National Decision Day has been pushed back for some schools, but it's still scheduled for May 1st. So hopefully whenever this video is edited and put out there, that they'll see this as a helpful resource for them. So we're going to start with introductions, and what you're going to do is your name, graduation year from IAL, and school you selected. And if you have a major, if you selected a major or declared, you can say that as well. So starting with Brianna.
Okay. Hi, my name is Brianna Rodriguez. I graduated 2019 from IAL, and I go to BMCC with a digital marketing major.
Gabriel. Oh.
Well, good afternoon to you all. I hope you guys are all doing good and staying safe at home. I'm Gabriel, as you may know, Gabriel Nova. I graduated in 2019, and I'm currently attending the City College of New York with an economics major.
Colin.
My name is Calvin Reyes. I graduated 2019. I currently attend Jefferson Community College, and my major is Homeland Security.
Oli, you could go.
Okay. Hi, my name is Olina Sipozo. I graduated from 2019 from England. I attend Marist College. My major, I'm a psychology major with a global study pathway and a social work minor.
Okay. And Alyssa and I are the alumni counselors, and with our CEO, Christina, as you guys all know. So we're gonna go with our first question, and we'll use the same pattern that we just used to answer the question, or maybe, and if you guys have another suggestion, go ahead if you feel like compelled to answer. If you don't have an answer, that's fine too. But we'll use the same pattern. Describe your college application process.
So my college application process was actually really long because, I mean, it's different for each applications, but like there's a lot of applications that like you have to do essays and it's just like really long. But for the most part, it was a really stressful time because I had to make sure I was doing the applications within a deadline and making sure I was applying to schools I really wanted to apply to, and to make sure not to make any mistakes. So I feel like it was stressful and long, but you know, it's what we're all going through. So yeah, it was long. That's it.
Gabriel, go ahead. Okay, so for me, the college application process was long as well, just like Brianna's. Mainly because I applied to a lot of schools. So Common App has a limit of 20. I applied to 20 schools on Common App, and I kept applying outside of that. It was a really long process, but I applied to all of the schools that I applied to because I wanted to have choices in the end, many choices. I didn't end up getting into all of them, but I made sure that I wrote the essays for those that needed the essays. I had the perfect region scores for those who required certain region scores. I just made sure that I was checking off certain boxes for the certain schools that I was applying to.
My college application process was hard as well, difficult, like Brianna's and Gabriel's. Essays, when it came to the essays, I mean, it was kind of long for some. Some wanted long ones where they wanted you to describe and talk about more things than the other. But and then there were some that didn't require essays at all. But I think that's out of the whole college process, the application process is the longest to me.
Um, my college application process, I would say it was long, like you guys all said. It was stressful, definitely. But overall, I feel like it was exciting for me because overall, it's like it's a new step and you're going to college. So I feel like it's a very exciting thing. At least for me, I was excited to finally take that steps to do everything I had to do. And yeah, it was some nights it was like wow. But overall, I feel like it's stressful, but underneath everything, it's like wow, I'm actually made it, and you're graduating, which is really exciting.
That's cool. Like in the just going off of what you guys are already sharing, like it was a hard, long process, but I mean, part of it is just trying to like pick a school. So where do you guys have any recollection of what it was like to even begin to find options that were a good fit for you? Like what was helpful? What did people tell you? Did you already have something in mind of what you wanted? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I feel like when it comes to like jotting down and picking the school that you really want to go to, it's important to realize what you really like want from a school itself and like what a school could provide for you. Because like when I was thinking about it, I didn't want to get into a school like just because of a name or just because like people say it's a really good school. I wanted to go to a school disregarding like what people say about it, but if the school could provide for me and give me what I need, at the end of the day, that's what was really important for me. So I feel like at the same time, you just have to go with your guts, go with what you feel you're most comfortable with, because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to be spending most of your time in. And you should just not pay too much attention about what people are saying, towards the school, and just go for like what you think is best for you and what you need.
Okay. So for me, it was kind of like the opposite for of Brianna's at the beginning. At first, I wanted to go to a school because of the name. I wanted to go to a school in California. That's what I wanted to do at all costs. I was applying to every single school, regardless of whether I wanted to go to California or not. I then chose a school by May 1st. It was a private institution, and I thought that it checked off all my boxes, that it was going to be the best school for me, the most amazing option. I was already set to go there. And 1 week before that, before starting and moving into the school, I decided to switch to a school that would actually check off all my boxes when it came to time, my goals, my financial goals, because you cannot only think of a school based on the name and based on whether you like it or not. You have to think if it benefits your pocket, if it has what you're trying to study, because guess what? If you save thousands of dollars now by making a single choice, then you'll probably get them back in the future with the same career. You just have to go to a school that offers what you want at a lower cost and that gives you the options that you need. So not just by the name and not just by what you want to study, just by what you should go by what the school has to offer for you.
For me, it was more about location. I mean, because coming into senior year, I looked at my grades and they weren't all the way there yet. I was getting there. And sports wasn't, I fell off of sports a little too much. So I really didn't want to choose for sports. And I definitely didn't want to go to like the top science school in the world. So for me, it was location. I wanted somewhere where I could, if I want to go home on the weekend or at the end of classes, I could, but I also had the option to dorm. Um, So that's what it was for me, location, basically.
Um, for me, I think it was a little bit of everything. I think I wanted the college experience everybody talked about, but at the same time, I was worried about the monies and the grade. And overall, like at the end, I can just go with your gut, kind of. I feel like it's important to focus on everything, but if you really want to go to a school, and as long as it's like in your budget, and if you feel comfortable in that school, I feel like that's very important.
Sorry, Seth is in the background. So I have a question about the period of time where you were getting your acceptances and your rejections. What was that like for you guys? And I mean, this is probably the toughest part because rejection is hard. So I was just wondering, like, what did that feel like for you guys? And if you could be honest and just share, like, how were you able to bounce back a little bit from some of those rejections and ultimately make the right choice for you?
For me, I came into the application process with the mindset of expecting, denials and expecting that anything could happen. So I didn't really want to like get too upset about being denied from a school, because really the way I just thought about it was if I got denied, it probably just was not the place for me. And you can't beat yourself up for being denied in a school, because not everybody gets into the school that they want to. So, and it doesn't mean that you're not as qualified enough. It just means that you just probably didn't want you. We don't know the reasons, but I'm just saying, like, you should never really like beat yourself up for it, because maybe that just wasn't the place for you. So I think it's about mindset. I don't think you should beat yourself up for it, because you're always going to end up at the place that you're supposed to end up in. So yeah, you just have to have the proper mindset.
Okay, so for me, again, it was a bit different at first. I wish I had Brianna's mindset and would have bounced back sooner from getting denied. I expected to get into most of my schools, especially the big name schools, which are the hardest to get into, I know. Um, one day we were on our way, it was a school trip. We were on our way to our shopping day at Say Yes to the Prom. And I got denied from both NYU and Columbia University within 5 minutes. So you should already imagine how I was feeling. I was really upset. I felt not smart enough. I felt like I didn't fit in. And I felt like it was all my fault for not doing great in high school my first 2 years. Guess what? It wasn't, because I got into many other different schools. I'm still getting the same economics degree that I can get in Harvard. I can get it in any CUNY. I could get it in any cheaper school that offers the same thing that I was probably gonna get at Columbia. Does that make me less smart than a person who got lucky and got into those big name schools? No, I'm still getting the same education. I'm still going to become a professional and add to this world. That's how I was able to bounce back from it. I thought of the positives and how I could become a potential asset to the world and community, and I just bounced back out of it. I was like, you know what? I'm still getting a college education. It's higher education. Doesn't matter. I'm happy.
Um, I definitely knew that because of my grades, most of the schools that I applied to 4 years that a little harder to get into or whatever. I knew I would probably get rejected from them, but I felt discouraged going into it because I've always prided myself to be the person who knows everything, who does well and stuff like that. So, I mean, it hurt knowing that I wasn't gonna end up probably at one of those schools. But what definitely kept me motivated is that, like most of you know, um, is not where you begin, is where you end up at. So, I mean, I knew that I was probably gonna end up in a 2-year community college, which I did, but definitely making the best of it and staying on top of my game. So don't get discouraged.
I feel like you guys have said it all. I feel like I felt that I went to it with a positive mindset that I was like, if they don't accept me, it's okay. Then it just means I wasn't meant to go in there. but it hurts, it stings a little bit because it, like Gabriel said, you kind of feel like you're not good enough to go into the schools. But in reality, is that you try your best, and in the school that you went into, that just means that if you got accepted to another school, it just meant that you weren't meant to go there.
That's good. So looking at like, you know, that you guys are talking about how do you bounce back from the rejections, but then, you know, you're getting all these acceptance letters. What was the final decision? How did you make it? What did it feel like when you finally were like, this is it, this is where I'm going?
For me, it was kind of tough to like make that final decision because I wasn't the person who was like blessed enough to get, you know, those good scholarships because I didn't really qualify for much financial aid. So I had to take into account like money because I didn't want to graduate with so many loans to pay. And I ended up going to BMCC, and I feel like I'm so happy with that decision because they provide so much help. And it's like I just wanted to mention that like school is not something that like makes you successful. It's you and what you have to like provide for yourself and how hard you work. That's what makes you successful. So I feel like BMCC was just something that gave me like a start off to see how much I could work and like what I really wanted to do. So I just decided that I wanted to be in the city as well. I wanted to be able to explore opportunities outside of school, be able to explore different options instead of having to like commit to one school that probably didn't give me as much. So I feel like at the same time I'm still like in a journey of learning what I want to do, and you know, just being happy with my decision. That's what's important to me.
For me, it was quite like Brianna's experience. I didn't qualify for many scholarships. I also didn't want to seek scholarships because it was a lot of work, a lot of essays, which I know that some of you might relate to. But my best advice for you is please seek them. Please find them. If you want to go to your dream school and you're not qualifying for the financial aid you require, seek out outside scholarships. I didn't do it. It was my mistake, but my advice to you is that you do seek them. Now, when it came to the decision, I made a decision on the I decided day at IAL. I chose the College of Mount St. Vincent. For those of you who don't know the story behind it, I was super happy with it. I was set to go there. That was my dream school. But yeah, it was just a dream. It wasn't a reality. In reality, I didn't want to put myself in debt for $11,000 a semester, twice a year. I just didn't think it was worth it. And they didn't even have the career I wanted to study. They didn't have international business, which is what I wanted to study at first. So I was towards the end, towards moving week, I was kind of not sold on the school. And I decided to switch to City College, a school that offered most of the things that I was looking for, except the living, but that's something I've gotten adjusted to. So your decision might change. Don't be afraid of making a decision now, and don't be afraid of changing it later. So let's say you chose your dream school. Let's say you chose Harvard that you got into, and you decide to change your mind at the end of the day for a different type of institution. Don't beat yourself up for it, because at the end of the day, again, it's your decision and you need to do what makes you comfortable and happy.
I got, like you guys are rejected to a lot, but some accepted me, and it's great hearing back from schools. But the schools that I was hearing back from was around where I lived, really close, a little too close. So I knew that was gonna be sort of a distraction for me. So that's what pushed me away from a lot of the schools that accepted me. But it's always a good feeling hearing back from some schools, even if those aren't the ones that you want to go to or was planning on deciding on. But it definitely puts a boost, especially when you got rejected by a lot. So yeah.
How did you make that final decision, Kelvin?
Say that again.
Like what? I remember that day. Hazel does too. I was like in the alumni lounge when you got the call.
Oh yeah. I actually got accepted to some, but none of the ones I got accepted to or none of the ones that I chose was actually the school I ended up going to. So I didn't want to be around the house. So one day I ran into where's Hazel? Where's Hazel? Because I knew that she was working with all of us on the college stuff, and I'm like, man, listen, everybody already knows where they want to go. I still haven't decided. We need to do something right now. And Old Westbury was giving me a lot of problem with the application process on there, and so I was like, I don't want to be in New York City. So she goes, all right, we get on my computer and we start looking at emails, and there was some schools that accepted me that I didn't even know accepted me. So always double check. I saw this email from Oswego, and they basically had a 4-year program, which is what I'm doing now. So it's 2 years Jefferson, SUNY, and then 2 years Oswego. And so I heard back from them that same day. Um, so it was literally a 1-day decision, and it changed my life forever. It was the best day of my life. Coming to this school really changed a lot for me. Yep.
My process was a little bit different. Marist is just school that I'm attending now. I wanted to go to that school and I applied and I got accepted. I was very excited. But like the financial aid, they were asking for too much, and like my family couldn't afford the income. So what we did was I went to the school, and this is something that you guys can do. You can go to the school and you can be like, this is my family income and I really want to go to your school, but I don't have the money for it. And you go and they will give you more money, and they gave me more money. Then what I did was I started applying for outside scholarships, and I got some scholarships, and the scholarships that I got, I managed to cover everything. So if, like Gabriel said, I encourage you to really go and apply for scholarships outside, because they can honestly make a big difference.
That's awesome. It's really cool just hearing each of your stories separately, but like at the same time. And Gabriel and Brianna, I think is something you started with, was like everybody has their own journey, and it's more about what we do with it and what we do with the opportunities we have. It's really cool to hear you guys talk about it. Was there any other like helpful advice? Like, we're doing this so that if there's a senior at IAL right now who's kind of struggling and stressed out and they're stuck, you guys, the alumni who've gone ahead of them, sometimes your voice, just, the actual trailblazer mentality, you're going ahead of them. And just to hear what you guys have to say to them is something that they could really use. It might be that extra push, that extra encouragement that they need. So was there something that somebody either told you or something you have in mind that you would want them to hear that could encourage them for this time? Yeah.
I have something. So one piece of advice that I have, and it's the biggest piece of advice that I have for them, is to be prepared, because your life will change. Your life will do a 360. I'm not the same person that graduated from Inwood Academy about a year ago. I don't have the same circle anymore. My mindset is different. Once you're in college, and you're going to hear this a ton of times, it's all on you. You're your own person. You're an adult. You're dependent for your grade. You're not going to have Miss Audrey, Mr. Roach chasing after you so then you can apply for stuff, so you could keep track of your financial aid. No, you're not going to have that. I'm glad that we have an alumni department, but at the end of the day, there's only so much that they can do for you. The rest is all on you. So be prepared for the change. It's going to be hard at first. It's still hard for me, but it's the best change of my life.
I 100% relate to Gabriel. I feel like I changed so much since graduation, but like for the absolute better. I found myself to open up more, and I learned also how to like study. I learned how to, just be more independent, and I think that's an amazing thing to experience. But I think you should also be aware that you need to be able to go into school with a positive mindset, because a lot of people have this thing where they say like college is so hard, college is, not for me, college is this and that. But college is what you make it. College could be the best thing you've ever experienced, and college could be the worst thing you've ever experienced. So I just think you need to go into it with a positive mindset, because everything is on your hands, and college is there to give you the ingredients and the keys that you need for success, but it's what you do with that that makes you successful. So I think that it is, at the same time, you know, if you don't go to like a name school, it's not the end of the world, because you're able to get education from you're able to get education from any school, and it's like, it doesn't really matter, because it's your journey, your process, and you have to do what you can to be the person you want to be. So it's a really good thing. So just be positive and have the proper mindset.
I think definitely one that we're missing is listen to your advisors. If it weren't because of my advisors, I would have been in a totally different direction. I remember the day still that Kenneth told me. He asked me. He goes, what schools have you applied to? And he's looking at my list. He's like, all these schools are around here. You need to get out of here. This is not the place for you. He's like, you need to go explore. Don't stay here. I don't think it's right for you. And I mean, this is somebody who's been my coach since 5th grade. So he definitely knows me very well. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take your advice. This is not the best place for me to, continue my education or whatever, because a lot of distractions. Get away from the distractions. So definitely listen to your advisors. I know some of you are going crazy, trying to get those great final grades and worrying about where you're gonna go to college or whatever the case is. Some of the best advice and secrets are in the people that are right next to you, your advisors, your teachers. They've been through the process. They've done it already. And sometimes we're not going to be here, the seniors, people who already graduated, alumni, to tell you what it's like, because we're currently in the process still. But those are people who definitely went through it already, finished it, made it through the finish line, and who are now trying to help you do the same thing. So definitely take your advice.
If I were to add another piece of advice, it would be to I feel like everybody knows themselves. You know what you're good at and you know what you're not good at. And I feel like, especially going into college and in the process of choosing your college, if you want to go to a school and you really want to go to it, but you see that school is not for you, then you should definitely talk to the people around you, because you guys can find something that will fit your benefit. And fit your benefit, and you can make it far. Like Brianna said, it's not where you go, it's what you make of it. Just honestly follow your guts and you're gonna be fine. And like Calvin said, go with the people around you.
Yeah, I think everyone here today, like, I don't want to make this too long, but I want to just, like, you guys have hit things that we've talked about and with the kids, but you guys are all saying it differently, which is, I think it speaks a lot on the college process, especially because you guys all go to different types of schools. There's SUNY away schools, there's the private schools, CUNY 4 years, we have CUNY 2 year, like this is talking about like the whole picture of all the types of schools, and it's a similar roadmap to each one, but it just depends on like how they said, like, go with your gut, go with what people are telling you, take the people that know you the most in terms of adults will lead you, they won't lead you wrong. They will, well, in good faith. Just believe that it's all in good faith. But I appreciate everything that you guys shared today. I think that is really important for everyone to hear, even outside of the IL seniors. I think this is an important conversation to even show like the 9th graders or something like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for just like talking about the process with us.
Yeah, and I wanted to tell you guys that I'm really, really proud of each of you. Each of you have picked your own paths, which is what you need to do. And you have not only picked a path, but to use the word that Alyssa used earlier, you've trailblazed. And I think that you guys should be really proud of yourselves. And you should be really impressed already by how far you've come, especially during this time. So continue to persevere, get those good grades in this semester, even though it's been unbelievably hard. And keep pushing yourselves. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop recording because I think we're done.